I just wanna praise you. I just wanna praise you. Shackles on my feet, yeah, they won't let me be. Won't you set me free? Pray this on me. Shackles on my feet, oh, they won't let me be. Won't you set me free? Pray this on me. Pray this on me. Let me go. I've been going through so much, I swear these people let my go. That's on me, that's on mamas. On my mama, I can't take no more, so miss me with that drama. Get your commas, get your rap straight, get your fat straight. Hold me down, I rise up on a like the tax rate. Keep my past straight, never lack faith. God been working, they gon' have to hold me back, man. Tell them, you can pick a side if you wanna. You already know who I'm going. All right, welcome to Life Talk 21, the show that is designed to motivate you, to inspire you, and to give you strategies to help you live in the 21st century. And remember, we don't just want to live, but we want to be successful. And my name is, I am Eric Wortham, behavior specialist, author, educator, and speaker for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the problem that some Republicans have with people of color. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I have friends that are Republicans that I respect, and it's my hope that they don't share these negative views. Now, and I really don't believe they do, because I have a great relationship with them. But I did want to just put in the mind to share with some of my fellow brothers and sisters why, it is an issue with many of those that are in the Republican Party. And I say that because, white nationalists, they tend to, be a part of the Republican Party. And so I just wanted to give a little tad bit about that really quick today. And this is the problem. It's like 6 things that I'm going to talk about really briefly. Next week, we're going to talk about conservatism. What is it? Conservatism for dummies. Because I think, as I talk to people, sometimes they don't really understand what true conservatism is, because that stuff that Trump is doing now is not conservatism. So we're going to talk about that next week, conservatism for dummies. But today we just want to talk about why some of our brothers and sisters that are of the Republican Party, Caucasian race, don't like people of color. Number one is many of them still don't see people of color as a whole person. Remember, the 3/5 Amendment, a long time ago, that declared that, we're going to count black people, but we're going to only count them 3/5 of a person. Mentally, that is still has been passed down in some of their psyche or their mindset. So they don't see us as whole people. And matter of fact, some of them probably see us as animals, to be frank with you. But it's definitely that stigma from years and years ago about we're not a whole person. 3/5, the 3/5 compromise that people of color are not. We're not going to give them a count for a whole person, and so some of that mentality has been passed down, and they still kind of think that. That's why when they shoot a black man, it's because they don't think it's even a real person. That's why it's easier for some of those guys to do that. Now, I support police officers. I really do. I have friends that are police officers, and they're good. I train police officers in crisis intervention training. And so, I support them, but it's just like in teaching sometime, or any other profession, there are a lot of bad apples that make the whole entire group seem to be bad. But one of the problems is the mentality that some of them have is that we are still looked at as 3/5 of a person. And even if we're looked at as a person, we're looked at as 3/5 of a person. The number two thing is many see their white privilege status disappearing. That's what started the whole thing. They see that disappearing because uh, they don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore like they used to. Now there are still pockets of stuff like that that happens, but it's not automatic anymore. They don't get that benefit of the doubt. For example, a person of color used to be person of color uh, go for a job interview, and there are, the choices are that person of color and that Caucasian male. Okay, now the person of color is the superior, has superior skills and qualifications. The white male only have minimal qualifications, but in those times, the job would automatically go to the white person. Well, now companies are smarter. Companies understand that it's about making money now. So now they're more likely to choose the one with the superior talents, and they see those things fading. That's why that motivation for Trump when he first ran, that's why they got riled up, because they see their way of life, those values that they held dear, they see them slowly chipping away as more people come into this country, as more people of color coming into this country, other nationalities, began to want those same type of possibilities for themselves and for their families. And so they're seeing that white privilege mentality going away. And one of the things that is frightening them is because the Millennial Group, that's my group, man. They're the biggest group. They have some issues, but one of the things that they don't have is they don't really see color. They don't. That's the group, and a lot of them cannot stand that. They can't. I remember when I was first started doing Uber part-time years ago, and I used to go up to Buckhead, and that's those rich white young people. And, I've always been the type of person that I let the client listen to whatever music they want to. And I'm telling you, 80% of the time, these guys, I was expecting some rock music, the first time I did it. But 80% of the time, 85% of the time, they are listening to Migos, hip hop, rap. That's their music of choice. And their grandparents, their parents see this, and they can't stand it. So, they see those things going away because that generation is more, and I want to say that generation does have a socialist mentality. They really do, that millennial generation. But that's what they see. Those things are slipping away from them. The third thing is they're not able to exert that power over the minorities that they used to without pushback. They can't push back now. They can't get women to have sex with them and do things like that for position, not without retaliation, not without them saying something about it. It used to be a thing where they did it and nobody ever heard anything about it. But now you just can't do it. And so that's another thing that is creating a problem as well. They can't do those things with minorities. They can't exert that kind of authority over minorities now without some pushback. Bottom line, we're not going to let them just do whatever, say whatever without pushing back. Okay. Even they can't stand the fact that the LGBT community have to be respected. They have to be allowed to have their freedom because this is the land of the free. Those are some things that they can't stand. The fourth thing is some of our most powerful people in our from the people of color, some of our most powerful people, they don't stand for the flag. Okay, and they have a big issue for it. And it's not that they're disrespecting the country because they love the country. We love the country. You know, we do. We were born, most of us were born here, and we love the country. But there are some things that, you know, that still happens to us to this day that we don't like because it's not equality. It's not the same. Okay, and so that irks them as well. It really does. And the last thing that I want to say that gets on their nerves is, well, not that that get on their nerve, but this is an issue for them. They don't understand that working hard at their father's or grandfather's business is not the same as having totally nothing and trying to make it. Okay, they keep trying to compare oranges to apples. Okay, and there's no comparison. Apples are apples, oranges, they're two different things. So when things happen unjustly to a black person, you know, one of the things that they can't empathize with is that, you know, some of us have came from literally nothing. And so I hear the phrase all the time saying, well, I had to work hard too. You know, my daddy made me get up at 5 o'clock and go clean this shoe store. Well, my daddy didn't have a shoe store, okay? We didn't have anything. We were poor. And so it's totally different. It's not the same thing. It's coming up. You had something. Your father had a business. Yeah, he made you work hard. He made you clean up, get up early and all those things. But just think about this. When you have to come up with nothing and try to become something. Okay? And so those are things that make it difficult for them to really, some of them now, not all of them, because again, I say that I have friends that are Republicans, and it is, you know, I don't think they have these views, but for a lot of them, and especially white nationalists, I'm telling you, these are some of the things that bother them about our race. All right, and remember, next week, I just wanted to give you a little taste this week, but next week we're going to be talking about conservatism for dummies. Make sure you stay tuned to that one, because some of us need to understand what it means to be a person that have conservative views, and so we'll talk about that next week. I'm Eric Wortham. Be all you can be by doing all you can do. Thank you. You don't want no problems with me. 50 shackles on my feet, yeah, they won't let me be. Won't you set me free? Break this on me. Break this on. I got them shackles off my feet, yeah, yeah. Can't put me back up in the